So let's just wrap this up with this final question. If there are magicians listening to this podcast who want to do a better job of incorporating storytelling into their performance, you've you've given some sort of clues to do it. But what would you give us? What would you tell them if you want to incorporate storytelling? Here's where I would start.
This is a question I often get from young people in magic. Like, where do I start? How do I start scripting my material? And incorporating storytelling into my work. And the advice I usually give them is get an index card, something like that, and a pen, and make a list of the things you feel passionately about. Like, what do you care about? What are you into? Like, what do all your friends and your family know that you're into? Make a list of those things. Now, once you've got the list, try to see what connects all those things. Is there a through line in all these things? Is there something that connects them? My guess is that there probably is. And so try to see the connections between them. And then try to incorporate those subjects, the things that you care about and feel passionately about, into your magic somehow. Like, just pick one off the list and see if it somehow matches up to a piece of magic you're already doing. My guess is there probably is something that you're already doing that is just crying out for an injection of sincerity of this type. And I've made lists of things. Like, I have a list of, like, the things I was passionate about between the ages of 7 and 13, right? And it's monster movies, Spider-Man comics, magic, ghost stories, Sherlock Holmes, Kolchak the Night Stalker, all the things I really cared about when I was a kid. And I have mined that list so much in my work today because it's such fertile ground. When I was into all that stuff was exactly when my interest in magic was sparked. So, like, all those interests were intertwined. Every one of the things in that list is sort of about the impossible made possible. And that's the through line, right? It's the through line of my childhood. And but with a specific sort of tone, and it was anything spooky.
Yeah.
So it was the spooky side of magic that attracted me to magic, right?
Yeah.
And that's still the case today. That is what I feel passionately about. And so I've made multiple lists of those kind of things. Like, what do I care about right now? What did I care about when I was a kid? And I have mined those lists for materials, for themes, for performances, themes for entire shows, in fact, have come out of those lists. So that's usually my advice. That's a place to start.
One of the other things that I really like about you, and that now I do because of you, is you talk about sitting down and making a list, but you're carrying a notebook with you 24/7. And as something occurs to you, you just bang, I'm going to write that note to myself. I don't know if that'll ever appear in my magic or not, but it's an interesting thing. So and I do that too now. I
Mm.
like, I saw this and I want to, you know what? Maybe I could use that. I don't know where I'm going to use that, but I want to keep that. I will keep that as a reference point for something. And oftentimes, a year, 2 years, 5 years, oh, that's where that goes. It goes right here.
Right.
And that's an
Right.
idea that I got from you. So it sounds difficult when you say, I got to sit down and make a bunch of lists. you have made it very simple. You just carry a notebook. Something occurs, yeah, I'm gonna write that down. I don't know where I'm gonna use it, but I will.
Right. Yeah. The function of always having pen and paper with me is, just because those fleeting thoughts are going to be gone.
Right,
They'll just be gone forever if I don't record them. And
right,
now, I mean, now the fact is we all have a computer in our pocket,
right. It's
right?
all on here. It's all on my cell phone
You
now.
can just
Right.
say it into the phone, and now
Boom.
it's locked in.
Right.
But what I often do is that's the first part of the process. The next part of the process is that I transfer those ideas to index cards. One idea per card of ideas for magic. And some of it is like specific magic effects, some of it's just a line, like just a line of dialogue on the card. And some of it's just like an image, like just an idea of a memorable image, and that's written down. And so I can, when I'm constructing a show or whatever, I can dig through this pile and find things, and and it keeps the creative process flexible. So because I can like lay these out on the floor and I can rearrange them, I can start to see connections between things I didn't notice before. Like this wouldn't happen if it just lives in my phone,
Right.
or if it were all on the page of a notebook. It's already in a structure. It's already in an order on that page. Whereas this, I can move this around and I can add cards or get rid of them or whatever. And so the whole creative process is flexible. Like I like to think of it as it's in play space and not in workspace. And I want to keep it in play space as long as I possibly can, right? Because that's where surprises happen and interesting discoveries are made in play space. Uh, so the index cards have become a vital part of the process. And the funny thing is, I learned this from an interview with David Lynch,
Mm.
the filmmaker David Lynch, and he talked about how he writes a movie. And he said he goes to a cafe and he orders milkshake after milkshake until he's really sugared up. And he has a stack of index cards and a pen, and he just starts writing one idea per card. And the idea could be a line of dialogue, it could be a description of a scene, it could be a description of a character, whatever it is, one per card. And he said, when I have 100 of those cards, I have a movie. And that struck me as like such a brilliant idea. Like, oh, then it's just a matter of just amassing a stack of ideas. I mean, some of them I might never use, but a lot of them I will. And it's like you said, like sometimes it's like 2 years later I look at the card and go, oh, that's what that's for.
Right.
Because sometimes it takes it the that magical synchronicity happens where something the puzzle piece falls into place.
Right.
And so without the stack of cards or the recording of the ideas, the final puzzle piece might never fall into place.